Hey there everyone, Vincent here. Today, we have Neil Napier here to explain on content creation and syndication framework.
But what I want to go in today, talk about how you can use different social media applications out there to not only generate traffic, but also build links over the long term. Let's get right into it. Here's what you're going to learn on this session today. Number one, how to generate content fast without expensive content writers. So if you're looking to create content for yourself, how to do it without every time paying someone else. And this is really useful if you want to generate a lot of, let's say, not the best quality, but the good enough quality content for viral sites. Then you can use this. Number two, how you can generate autopilot traffic without any SEO, which means, again, without spending hours and hours researching keywords, thinking about backlinks and so on. How can you still create traffic by creating perfect social and SEO signals? How you can tap into social media traffic with automated sharing. When it comes to driving traffic, it is one of the biggest pain points that stops any business from exploding, basically. Even if you have a proven funnel, you still have to worry about traffic. Even if you create a product, you still got to generate traffic, and that's something that holds back people a lot of times. And that's something we want to change today. I want to simplify the equation for you. That's the thing to take away from here. If you feel that traffic generation is complicated, I want to change that today. I want to break that belief pattern where you think, oh, I can't do this because it's too complicated. Or if you think, I can't do this because I don't have enough time. Or I can't do this because it costs a lot of money. I want to break those limiting beliefs that you have today. The tool that I'm going to show you today. That's been really helpful. We've been able to rank videos and websites as well for typically quite often, as you can see, long tail keywords by using this platform. So for local search, for local marketing, this is awesome. This is really, really good. Now, the key thing here I want to do on this session today is give you the 3-step framework that you can use to generate traffic like we do. You do need 2 things to basically make this work for you long term. Number one, you need reoccurring quality social signals. By that I mean, your branding on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, all these different places, as many as you can. Because here's the thing, if you think that I'm only going to do Facebook marketing, I'm only going to have a fan page and nothing else, sure, that might work, but you never know how your market, how your product will react on other social media platforms. So if you can build a lot of reoccurring quality social signals, and if you can build safe, relevant, and legitimate backlinks, you can make this work for you. That's the secret. That's the big reveal, I will say, of this entire presentation. It comes down to 2 things. Number one, can you tap into different social media channels all the time? And again, not all of them might work. Some of them might completely fail, but you have to try as much as you can. And the second thing, can you use that to build safe, relevant, and legitimate backlinks that go back to your website, that feed into your website, and drive traffic for you as well over the long term? So there's a short-term effect right over here looking at it on the left-hand side. Then on the right-hand side, you've got the long-term effect. And that, to me, is the best way to do SEO. And again, like I said, I don't know enough about SEO, but if I was doing it, this is how I would do it. I would squeeze out as much as I can immediately, and then I will also set up the groundwork to squeeze results out over the long term. So if I publish a blog post, immediately I want there to be, let's say, 500 hits. And then I want, 500 more organic hits over the next 3 to 6 months. That, to me, is a good result. Without going too much into detail about the blog and the niche and everything, of course, you might also aim for 10,000 hits. That's up to you. But the key thing here is that just because, let's say if you're running Facebook ads, and that's a good method too, I like it. But if you're running Facebook ads to a blog post, as soon as you stop the traffic stops. As soon as you stop paying, they stop driving more people to you. So it's okay for the first, day, first 2 days, but then after that, you still want to be able to generate organic traffic to it, to generate residual social traffic to it, which can happen if you follow these techniques that I'm talking about. So the 3 steps that I want to talk about today include content creation and syndication. Like I mentioned, you can definitely do this manually as well. I'm going to pitch you a tool that you can use to do this automatically, but you can do this manually as well. So whatever I'm showing here is time consuming if you do it by hand, but it does work. That's the key thing. So the 3 steps, and I'm going to go into detail with each one, so don't worry. The 3 steps are creating content, automated syndication, or, if you're doing it manually, syndication, and then rinse and repeat. Basically doing it over and over and over again, finding the best sources of traffic and tapping into those. So let's talk about step number 1. Step number 1 is creating content. So when it comes to content creation, there are 3 things I want to address here. Number 1, do you really need to create content other than the sales page? So thing is, if you are only driving Facebook ad traffic, typically all you need is a funnel. You need an opt-in page, you need a sales page, an upsell page, a thank you page, you're done. Because after that, you can just, put them in anyone who comes in, put them through another funnel that goes through a similar setup. So you don't always need, content outside of your funnels, but I'll talk about whether or not you really do. Second thing is, should you spend a lot of time in creating this content? If you do need content, should you spend a lot of time on working this instead of creating a newer funnel, right? And then the last point is, what are some of the fastest ways to create this content? So I'll give you that method as well. So let's talk about whether or not you really need content other than sales page. To me, when I think about building a brand, and I hope it resonates with you as well, I hope you feel the same way, that when I think about building a brand, when I think about having a group or a fan page, I try and give out as much valuable content as I can. My focus is to share something new every week, something that's working for us, and something that people can implement in their business and get results out of it. So to me, traffic generation is not simply about driving paid traffic, stopping paid traffic, driving it again, stopping it again. Sure, that can work as well. That's fine. But our goal here is to make sure that we can offer something of value to our customers as well, so they stick around, so they have more reason to come back and check out our sales pages. Right? So I think it is good to offer value, but it's a very subjective thing. Value comes in different ways. If you have a great product, like Facebook itself, you're providing a lot of value to users already. But if you then give out additional training on how to use Facebook for marketing, that's going above and beyond what you're planning to do. That's like massive value. So I think when it comes to traffic generation, if you want people to trust you, to like you, you do need to provide value. The second thing is that sales pages are not typically optimized for SEO. So sales pages, sure, they have a lot of backlinks pointing to them if that's how you set it up, but you can't really optimize it for a lot of different keywords. 1 or 2 big keywords, sure, but after that it all kind of falls apart. So if you're really building a website, a niche website, let's say, or a niche business where you want to drive traffic over the long term from 100 different sources, people searching 100 different things, then you can't do it with just a sales page or just a funnel. So you need to be able to, in that case, optimize for SEO. And most likely what works better is like a blog, as I mentioned. So in that sense, social traffic actually converts better on blog posts than on sales pages. And here's why. Let me explain. A lot of people who end up on your website from, let's say, Google search, they are looking for specific keywords by which they found you. But what happens in social media? If you make a post on a fan page or in a group and someone shares that with their friends, the friends already know what the post is about. I mean, they're going to click on it out of curiosity and they're going to land on the page. And if then all you're doing on the page is hammering them with offers and offers and they didn't expect it, it's not going to work. That's why the IM community, as we call it, is quite difficult in some ways to sell, because everyone's so used to seeing offers all the time. So as soon as they see an offer, it's like, oh, another one. That's it. They walk away. Instead, what converts better is value. What converts better is if you have a blog post where you're offering some great insights, and at the end of it, you're doing a soft pitch. It could be a soft pitch to an opt-in, could be a soft pitch to a product, but with social traffic, people like to get value first. So with that in mind, I think it is important when it comes to content creation that you provide value other than the sales page. Now, the second point to talk about is, should you spend a lot of time in creating this content? Should you spend a lot of time creating this value? Short answer is no. If you're spending too much time doing this, you're doing it wrong. And I'll also explain why. Quite often when we talk about building up content websites, people say, go for quality, don't go for quantity. Then some say, don't go for, go for quantity, don't worry about quality too much. The pros and cons to each. If you're going just after the quality, then what's going to happen is that you will be niching down to a very, very specific kind of user. A kind of user who has an hour on their time to basically read your 3,000 word post. Sure. If that's what you want to attract, that's completely fine. But what I'm more interested in is engaging all kinds of people that I can, and then see which one fits me better, especially in a new market. So instead of writing a 3,000 word post, I would rather write a 500, 600, 6 or 500 word posts, and then push them out and see which user bites which one, and make them all different, so that I'm able to encapsulate different kind of users. One positioned towards, let's say, a logical buyer, the other one positioned towards an emotional buyer, and so on and so forth. So the way I create content, and you can copy that method as well, I'm quite open about it, is that I do audio recordings. I think it's easier for me to just pick a topic and record an audio about it. So you can do this as well in your business. You know something about the topic that you're interested in, that you're passionate about. You can essentially just flip on some, write down some notes on a piece of paper and start talking. Talk for 10 minutes. You've got a 1,500 word article right there. Right? Talk for 5 minutes, you've got one article for 700 words, 800 words, and so on. So what you do then is get a transcription. I send the article over, the audio over to rep.com, and they're able to convert that into, written piece of content. Then I can just take it back and edit it, and it's good to go. It's good to, we're ready to make a blog post. So this is how you create content really fast. And think about how long it would take you to write, let's say, a 1,000-word article. Maybe a couple of hours, an hour if you're really fast. But doing this will take you 5 minutes to record it, another 5 minutes to send it over, or 10 minutes, let's say, to record, 5 minutes to send, and when you get it back, another 15 minutes to, edit it and make sure it's good to go. So about half an hour and you're done. So in that sense, you've basically saved a lot of time. You've been able to cut down the time it takes to create content quickly. If you do automation, essentially it allows you to build out a lot of content really quickly and then figure out which one's working for your audience. So especially if you're going to a new market, it's tough to really pinpoint the pain points of your audience and understand what is it that they're looking after. What is it that's going to make them stick? So in that case, automation works really well. That's what I would recommend as the fastest way to create content. And again, with the solution that I'll show you, you can, in many ways, you can spin the content as well so that it's unique. You can take parts of it so that, and you can edit it later so that it still feels unique to the Google bots, I guess we can call them that, right? So you can use this technique to build your content out really fast as well. I still like, if you're going after quality there's nothing better than this. There's nothing better than doing your own audios, because it really is your voice then. It really is people hearing from you. And if you collect enough of this content, if you do an hour worth of videos, of audios, you basically got an ebook on your hands. Or if you want to convert it as such, you've got a video course on your hand. So this is a good way to create content as well. Step number 2 now comes down to syndicating content. So this is where we basically go to our friends. Typically that's what we'll do. We'll go to our friends and we'll say, hey, I've written this great piece of content. Would you mind telling others about it? Or if we're doing it with our own assets, we post it on our fan page, in our group, on our Pinterest profile, on LinkedIn, and these other places as well. So this is basically content syndication. You have one piece of content and you publish it across multiple different places, sometimes with changes and sometimes without. So when it comes to syndicating content, you want to share it on Facebook, Twitter. You can schedule it to share it on LinkedIn, Tumblr, Google+, and many more places, and you can do this over and over again. So this is the big difference between how other people do it and how we do it. The way other people do it is that they would publish a content, they push out a blog post once, and then they'll share it on Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn, all these places, and then they're done. And move on to the next blog post. Where we differ is that we do this one cycle, and then we do it again after a couple of months or 3 months, and then we do it again and again. We keep on doing it so that, because new people come into our funnel every month or every 3 months, they haven't seen some of our old content. So by doing this, we're basically building engagement, we're building trust, and we're not doing a lot more work. We're just focusing now on converting people. But here's the thing. If I was to ask you, if I was to tell you that, okay, there are 15 places where I want you to share your blog post, it's going to take you at least 5 minutes per post, for 15 networks. And if you're doing 2 posts a week, it's basically going to take you 2.5 hours every single week doing this. So you spend, you publish 2 blog posts a week, which I think is normal, especially if you automate it. Even if you do your own audio, I think it's fine. It's feasible if it's only 600 words. But you do that, and then you share it in 15 different social media sites. Here are the problems. Number one, you need to log into each one every time to share it. So you're going to spend time on that. Number two, you need to make sure that the image is fine as well. If it's like a Facebook timeline thing or a Facebook fan page, you need to make sure that the image actually makes sense. So there's that as well. Altogether, it takes a little bit too long. I mean, you can do it, but it just takes time. But the way we do it with SyndRanker, and I'm going to show you this soon, the way we do it is that we create an RSS feed, which is, by the way, free to create. I mean, as long as you have a blog, a WordPress website, even if you have an InstaSuite blog, you have an RSS feed. You do that, you schedule a campaign, and basically everything works on autopilot from there on. And I want to show you this. Let me see. Let me just jump into here. Okay, so I'm right now in SyndRanker, and as you can see, we've got a lot of campaigns set up already. The second thing is that if it comes down to long-term traffic, these are backlinks that Google sees as authority backlinks. So Google says, okay, all these different social media channels that are pointing towards our blog, which means it must be doing well. I mean, they spend some time sharing it on social media. Let's rank it a little bit further up. I'm not saying it's always going to rank on page 1. Some of them will, some of them won't. It's just how the whole game works. But when they do, it'll be without any effort. That's the thing. So let me go in and show you how easy it is to set up a campaign. I'm just going to go in and copy one of these InstaSuite ones. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our campaign now. So I'm going to jump in, and creating a campaign is easy. Okay, first of all, you have to add accounts. So if you go to add accounts, you'll see a few different accounts here that you can add, depending on the level, and I'll explain this a little bit later. But you can say, okay, I want to add a new Facebook fan page. So you can put some details in here. We walk you through, if you go to support this, we walk you through how to add everything in. If you want to add new Google+, same thing, you put in a few details, and then we can post on Google+ on your behalf. So that way you add all these accounts. And at the moment, we have these different accounts already attached to it, right? So we have these different accounts attached to the entire platform. Now, if we're going to campaigns, let's go ahead and create one for syndication. Again, like I said, this works if you do it manually as well. If I wanted to take this feed, this RSS feed that I have, and post it across all these different places, sure, that's fine, it works, there's nothing wrong with it. It just takes a little bit longer to do it manually because I have to log in everywhere and so on. So the simplest way to do this is, let's say I want this one and I want this one, and I'm going to post here, Twitter, LinkedIn, let's go for another medium, and I'll go for Pinterest as well. I think Pinterest is good. Is good. Some of them are going to be really good for traffic, some of them not so much, and you figure that out as you go along, because you don't always need to just focus on one traffic source and forget about the rest. So I want all these different channels. So we're about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get another one. Let's get 11. Right? So we're going to now post on 11 different places automatically anytime a new feed gets published. That's the important. A new post gets published. That's the important thing. Anytime a new post gets published. And I think for the sake of showing you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use InstaSuite blog in this case, because I think for that I have access to, and I can publish a post soon after this. And Alvin, maybe you can help me out with this once we've set it up. Then we can publish out a post quickly. Not just yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to either do this immediately, either go ahead and save new campaign. That way it gets published, it gets saved immediately, so that any new post that comes out will automatically get syndicated to these 11 places instantly, as and when it comes out. Alternatively, what I can do is I can schedule it. So scheduling it is good. What that does is, if I click on next, now it tells me, okay, how soon after the post goes live do you want it to be published on different social media channels? So this is where your links become more normal. Because if you publish to 11 different places at once, then it's going to look a little bit spammy or a little bit pushy marketing. But if you say, okay, to the group, let's push it out after 1 day, here we can go immediately, here we can go immediately. This could go after 1 day and 5 hours. And I think it should say hours and minutes, or days, hours, and minutes. And Alvin, maybe you can make a note of it so we can talk to developers to include the index on top. So this one I want to go, let's say 2 days after, 6 hours later, and 0 minutes, and so on and so forth, right? And maybe let's say all of them go out, the rest of them go out immediately. That's fine. I'll save this campaign, and what's going to happen is that, there you go, it's saved up. So as soon as a post goes live, it's going to get posted to different platforms, depending on the frequency that we put in. Let me go further here. We have scheduled this. One thing I didn't show you, but you can do as well, is if I go again here, I can choose to do recurring campaigns, right? So let's say I want this campaign to go over again every 30 days. So it's really cool because I'm going to use this for a second. Let's say you've got post 1, then you've got post 2, which comes out. Post 1 comes out on 1st of July. Post 2 comes out on, let's say, 4th of July. Okay? So you do syndication for this, and that takes, let's say, 10 days. So by 11th of July, it's done. But you have set it to recurring, let's say 30 days. So what happens is that on 1st of August, this starts again and goes up till, in this case, let's say 11th of August. So what it comes down to now is that you're sharing content on your social media over and over again without doing it manually. Are you with me so far? Can you see how cool recurring can be? I mean, I think scheduling itself makes things easy. It makes life easy because you don't have to do it manually. But recurring makes sure that if you tap into, let's say, 10 or 11 social media channels in 1 month, we go to the same social media channels and do it again the next month or 60 days or 90 days later, up to you, entirely up to you. So that's a method that we follow over time so that we continue to bring back traffic to your website. So it's not just a one-time thing, now it's a recurring, it's a repeating thing over and over and over again. There we go. Okay, sharing my screen again. So this is a post on SyndRanker. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that it has already appeared in the feed as well, because sometimes it can take a few minutes because, it depends on how the feeds are set up. So it might take a few minutes for this to show up. Good. Okay, so the post is up. And this is our RSS feed. It's a little bit technical. You don't need to worry about that. Now that the post is up, if I go back here, let's go into my campaigns. Okay, now that the post is up, what's going to happen is that it's going to pick stuff up from here, and it's going to schedule that as soon as it picks up the RSS feed. At the moment, it hasn't picked it up. But if it's an immediate posting, it'll post it immediately. But if it's not immediate, if it's going to take some time, then it's just going to, put it here so you can see what it will look like. So you can click and basically see, okay, all these posts are set up for future, and that's what they're going to look like. So right now we're waiting, and I think by the end of the session, in about another 5-10 minutes, they'll be ready to go out. If I go to my campaigns, yeah, they'll be ready to go out. But in the meantime, I want to show you a couple of other things. We have, as I mentioned, different accounts available depending on different levels. I'll walk you through that a little bit later as well. But the other thing you can also do in this case is you can index the links. Right? So what that means is whenever you publish, so we had a report earlier. Let me go here, and I'll go to, let's say, this one. Okay, not this one. Let's go for this one. So when you have a link like this, Google will eventually pick it up. Eventually, after some time, Google will pick it up. But what you can do to speed things up a little bit is use an indexer. An indexer is an SEO thing, and trust me, if I try to explain to you the intricacies of it, I don't completely understand it myself either. But with the indexer option, you basically let these different websites know, like, hey, we just published a post on, let's say, Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Google Plus, whatever. Can you please make sure you pick it up, like right now? And when you let them know, they pick it up immediately. Google picks it up immediately. So that way, you basically are now able to rank faster. Because sometimes what happens is that, let's say if you're building hundreds of backlinks quickly, Google might not even come across, 1, 2, or 3 of those. It might just forget when it's scrolling. But if you do this, you're able to make sure that all the links get indexed. All the links are, Google, you inform them about all the links as well. So there's that option too. Then let me go back into my campaigns and see if it has published. Not yet. Okay. All right. So this is how the entire syndication works. This is how you're able to essentially build out content, backlinks over time. If I go ahead, let me go to this report, and if I'll just jump into this one, you can see this is a test post that's been put on our behalf on June 18th. And again, all of this is automated. All of this is all hands-off as it can get, because once you set it up, you don't need to come back to it again to put things in motion. So create an RSS feed campaign, which again is quite easy for WordPress. It's easy for InstaSuite as well. It's really, for any WordPress website, you can just Google this, WordPress blog RSS feed, and it'll tell you how to get yours. That's how easy it is. Then you set up a campaign, and boom, you're good to go. And again, using the same thing, we're able to generate 11,000 plus hits for JobRack. So let me show you this. jobrack.eu/blog. And I think the last post that we had, was it recently? I can't remember, but let me see. When was the last post made? Okay, it doesn't actually say the time and date there. But this one automatically goes out to multiple different channels immediately. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because now we're able to draw traffic from multiple different places, not just one place, but as many as we can. And again, like I said, it all comes down to hitting as many different social media channels. And if you can do that, you are able to essentially drive traffic from multiple places. And once you've done this, step number 2 was all about content syndication. Like I said, you can do this manually as well. Once you've done this, all you need to do is rinse and repeat. All you need to do is do it over and over again. So if you publish 2 blog posts, you need to do this twice a week. If you publish, that's twice a week. So if you publish, let's say, only 1 blog post a month, you only need to do it once a month. Then again, you're not going to get a lot of traffic by only doing it once a month, unless you do a recurring campaign, right? Because if you do a recurring campaign, basically that means that you can just repeat it again, after 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, entirely up to you. What do you think? Do you like it so far? Do you think this is something you can use in your business? Do you think you want to rinse and repeat this traffic technique? Fully automated. That's the key thing to remember. I'm not asking you to put in a lot of time. You need to go in, you need to set up the social media accounts. You have to do that as the first step. That's the very, very basic step. Then you set up your RSS feed. And once you do that, you can start generating traffic over and over again. So what do you think? Can you do this little bit of work to begin with, so that way all the backlinking basically happens automatically? What do you think? Okay, I want to show you this as well. So there we go. This is the blog feed that we have just set up. As you can say, it's already running. So I think about 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, it ran. So if I click on this one, it's already been posted here. I think I'm not logged into Facebook here, but I should be able to see it. Let's hope. There you go. So again, every network has limitations on how much text can go out with it. But this post got made. It's in one of the fan pages. And if I go look at this one, let me see. It's on Medium as well. Right? If I go to this one, it's again on Medium as well. And again, you're seeing truncated text because it depends on how much text we can relay over to that location. Sometimes not all. But because these are your locations, you can always go in and edit them if you want. For us, it depends on what that network limits us to send to them. And we push it out there and we publish it. As simple as that. Now, the platform is called SyndRanker, which automatically creates unlimited number of high-quality backlinks and social signals for you. It works in 3 steps again. You connect your multiple different networks, as many as you want, to syndicate content to. You hook up your RSS feed. You can do it for your blog. You can do it for your YouTube channel. And you can even get RSS feed from your fan pages. You can even get RSS feed from, I think, Pinterest as well, and even LinkedIn. So there are multiple different RSS feeds that you can use. And you start your campaign, and you're good to go. So you can connect unlimited accounts you want to post to and run multiple unique campaigns. And there are different features. So with the main offer that I want to show you today, and all the others, In this case, you can run 50 campaigns at any given time. You can post to 15 different networks within this platform. You can schedule campaigns in future as well. And you can also syndicate native videos and embedded material, so YouTube links, for example. You get detailed reports. If you wanted to give a report to a potential client as well, you can do that. You can create unlimited safe links, so the links are completely safe. And you can do tiered campaigns. And just for the special public launch that we're going live with now, you also get developer license included today. So there are going to be 2 licenses. I'm going to show you those. You get the developer license included there as well. So it has multiple different features available in this. You can connect multiple accounts. You can run up to 50 campaigns. You can post up to 15 different networks, schedule campaigns as well. You get detailed reports, and you can create tiered linking campaigns if you want, and then you get developers' rights as well. Upgrade number 1 is SyndRanker Pro. SyndRanker Pro basically comes with unlimited number of syndications. So with the main license, you get 5,000 syndications every month that you can do. So, once a link goes out to 1 location, that's 1 syndication. If a link goes out to 10 locations, that's 10 syndications. But in this case, you get unlimited. Then you can now raise the campaigns from 50 to 500. That's the second thing. Then you can connect and syndicate to more networks as well. So we eventually are going to give you 15 networks with this more. Plus, well, actually, these are the 5. And then you can also, if you have Spin Rewriter, you can integrate that in. So all you need to do is put your login details, your API key, and any content that gets shared will be automatically spun. So any content that gets automatically shared will be automatically spun as well. So those are the features of the Pro version. Then upgrade number 2 is the agency license. So the main offer is the developer version, which means that you can actually create an account. You can run campaigns for a client from your own account, which is fine. But with the agency license, you can actually sell access to a client. You can sell accounts to them if you want. So they only get the elite license in that case. But this way you can basically offer it as a product service. So you get a full customer portal section there as well.
Hope you have a better understanding on content creation and syndication framework. SyndRanker will improve on your website. 1. Reoccurring quality social signs, and 2. Safe relevant backlinks. Click the link below to access SyndRanker.